If you like the channel, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/MundaneMat. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and you know, it's always funny to watch social justice warriors in real life, because they sometimes put down the phone, leave Starbucks, exit the computer, get into the real world, and then try to enact what they would normally claim online in real life. And the response is always very interesting, especially when there's a pushback from an artist trying to segregate an audience at a music festival, which is what happened with musician Lido Pimienta after she asked women of color to move to the front of the auditorium at a music festival. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Matt, why are you on Jezebel? Why are you there? And I'm like, I'm there because that's where the article is. Don't worry. The archive link will be in the video description. Anyway, it says here, while performing at the Halifax Pop Explosion Festival on October 19th, Lido Pimienta, musician and recent recipient of Canada's prestigious Polaris Music Prize, reportedly asked people of color to move to the front of the room and white people to move to the back. That is a bad move in reality. It is. It's a bad move. You can't sit there and go, I want equality, and then ask people to segregate themselves. I mean, don't get me wrong. People naturally tend to segregate themselves these days. That's not an uncommon practice, especially when it comes to neighborhood living. Go to any major metropolitan area, look at the neighborhoods, and then break down the racial demographics, and you'll see that I'm right. Especially look at San Diego. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works there. Anyway, this is a request she makes often at her shows, but a white volunteer at the festival, as well as white people in the audience, were reportedly mad at the reconfiguring of the room and made accusations of reverse racism. Well, I would like to stop them right there and claim that reverse racism simply doesn't exist. It doesn't exist because it's just racism. It's a nice, funny, PC way of saying racism by saying reverse racism, but no, it's just plain old racism. And the fact that this woman is still sitting there wanting to do it repeatedly and getting no pushback, and then when she finally gets pushback is where the fun happens. But to repeatedly ask that question, if I was in a place like that and I paid money to be there, I got there, got my seat, and she was like, all white people go to the back, I'd be like, no. I paid money to be here. This is my seat. I'm watching the show. That's just how this is going to be, you know. And then, of course, you wait for everyone to pull out their phones. It becomes a big event. It goes viral. And at the end of the day, I can basically afford another cruise to Mexico, because that's how you do that when you get a viral video. You make enough money, you go on a cruise somewhere. Yeah, that's living the high life for being a YouTuber. Anyway, so you have this person here by the name of Phil Miller, who was not very happy with the situation as a whole, saying here, fuck you and your brown girls to the front racist bullshit. You're dividing the people. And she quoted that and says, my show at Halifax Pop X has seen some people riled up / angry at me. The gag is that I've been doing this for long and I'm not going to stop. Well, she should stop because it's racist. It's absolutely racist. Now, people out there might argue with me, go, no, how is that racist? She's just trying to make sure that people of color get a better seat. Well, then people of color should have gotten there early or bought the tickets early, depending if it's assigned seating from when you purchase. You know, you can't sit there and be mad at me when I buy the best seats in the house when I want to go see a movie because I bought the tickets early and I made sure I was first in line to do it. You know, if I were to buy my tickets for Star Wars and I got my seat and, you know, my girlfriend and I are comfortable and someone comes in and says, oh, I'm sorry, we have a direct request from Walt Disney or from Lucasfilm that people of color get to sit in these seats and we ask that white people move to the back. I'd be like, you can know. No, I'd use way other language than that. But you see how it is. You apply it to any other situation and it sounds utterly ridiculous. But yet the music company, the people who put it on, they agreed with her. It says here that on October 27th, the Halifax Pop Explosion Music Festival issued an apology to her, saying, we will not accept this behavior and neither should you. Be responsible for your friends. Talk to them. Support them as they move towards unpacking their racism, wrote the festival, referring to the white volunteer who interrupted her show and was removed by the venue by the artist. People of color deserve safe spaces, and it is your responsibility to help. It's also ours. Yeah, here's how you have a safe space. Make sure you got security guards at the entrances. Make sure no one brings in any weaponry. Make sure no one brings in any explosions. And there's your safe space. Anything else to that is just a ridiculous expectation. And people need to learn to manage those when they're out and in public. When you're at home, sure, you can watch what you want, say what you want, do what you want. You have your safe space. But when you're out with other people, you kind of forego that particular requirement of living, right? But you can still sit there and get your safe space by having adequate security and making sure that, you know, nothing bad happens. But to sit there and write an apology saying that you need to talk to your friends, you need to be responsible for your friends and help them unpack their racism is one of the most asinine and just like degrading comments a company can make. What the hell? This is the problem with social justice. This is seriously the problem with the regressive left. You don't want equality. You never actually want equality, because equality would be everyone mixed together as a whole, right? Everyone having an equal, or everyone having the ability to see and to hear and to experience the show. What social justice warriors want is equality of outcome, not equality of opportunity. And you're never going to get equality of outcome, because if you want equality of outcome, you're running dangerously close to communism, and that's not going to fly anywhere. Even in communist countries, it never really applies in the way that you want. It's one of those theories that looks wonderful on paper, but is horrible in practice. And that's what this Lido woman's trying to do, and it's just it's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's asinine. And anyway, it says here in an interview with Billboard about the controversy, she clarifies that she never asked white people or men to leave her show, and explains why she asked people of color, specifically women, to move to the front. So she didn't ask anyone to leave, but she still asked them to get up and give up their seats. And that's, again, something you don't have to do if you've paid to be there. You can if you want, if you just want to like be part of the experience and whatever. I get why people might want to, but I get why people might not want to. And to throw somebody out for calling you out, for criticizing it, is just funny. And then to offer an apology on behalf of the organization for a person being upset at what could be perceived only as segregation is just laughable to me. Saying here, when I first started asking Wimixon to the front, I noticed how white women were usually at the front and brown girls would be behind the white girls, a bit more shy, a bit more restrained. Even at HPX, I had to call out a few black girls who were too shocked and felt like I was putting them on the spot by saying, "Girl, come to the front. This is for you." As an immigrant who's an Afro-Indigenous person, as an intersectional feminist, as a mother, and all these other signifiers that qualify me as other, okay, I understand what it's like to not see yourself in the media, to not see yourself in institutions, and to not see yourself represented or reflected at a music show. Because the artist of color, and I put that in quotation marks because even that term is extremely problematic, we don't get to see each other at that level. Now, again, I understand what she's trying to do. I get that. But at the same time, it doesn't work that way in realistic settings. This is the biggest problem when it comes to social justice warriors and the regressive left. Once they step away from their phones, once they stop tweeting constantly, they start putting these ideas in practice. They realize, oh, it's not going to work that way. I can't block or mute these people in person. I can't get a hashtag trending in real life. There's pushback here. And again, like I said, to be fair, and I will be, I think she's stupid for how this whole thing played out, but I get what she's trying to say. I do. My solution to that, my suggestion for that would be to tell them to get there earlier. That would be it. Like, oh, hey, you want to come here? Cool. Get there a little earlier. That's your best way. I want you close up. It's an equal show. Everyone can sit where they want to sit. You want to get the better shots, get there earlier. Or, and then this is just another thing too, is have reserved seating in the front. Okay. And then raffle off wristbands to sit in those seats through a specific organization that you want to champion. You know what? That would be way better than when you get there and putting people on the spot by asking them either to come forward or to move back. It's one of those things that's just ridiculous to put in practice. You could find other ways to get around it that aren't going to be as, I don't know, douchey. So it says here that while she is deeply touched by the festival's response, she says they still have a long ways to go. Of course, because they're never happy. This is the other side with social justice warriors. They're never happy. You can never win with them. If you do something and they give you an inch, you will then take a mile. And no matter how much they apologize or they bend the knee or fall on their swords, so on and so forth, you will never be happy. She says we are all in a complicated and painful time, but we're on a necessary path, unlearning patriarchal Western civilization ways. If we don't speak up, we will never evolve. That's not even really how one would evolve necessarily, but okay, fine. But the internet does like to actually go out and find out a person's true colors by generally what they tweet about on social media. And so since Lido here is trying to be all like, oh, we have a long way to go to evolve, we can all be there together, we have to unlearn all of these patriarchal systems, right? But then you go and you look on her Twitter and you find this nice little collection here, complete with archive links, which will be linked below in the video description. Her saying here, Kendra, you did that. Get Out perfectly captures the terrifying truth about white women. Saying here, wow, that's some fucked up shit, or fucked up white people shit right there. White male fragility / mediocrity, no matter how many times they leave the stage and curse out the crowd, still gets paid. No rock and roll band sounds awesome. White bros with guitars is the most irrelevant music now, and I hope forever. I'm really happy about hashtag I stand with Ahmed. It's what's trending most though, not I am Ahmed, especially white folks. You are not Ahmed, you are Charlie. And it goes on and on and on and on and on from there. You can see a lot of this anti-white sentiment. Now, am I going to come out and say that this woman is a racist? No, I don't think she's racist. I think she's very bigoted. I think she's very discriminatory, especially against white people, especially in a public space. And I think that she will use that to her advantage. And I think that the Halifax Pop Explosion Music Festival made a huge mistake in bending their knee and apologizing to her. And I don't think they should invite her back, because that's the kind of attitude that's not going to ever solve division. And I only think they should invite her back next year if she agrees to not do this particular thing again, because these kind of actions should have consequences. When you set out to purposefully segregate others, you're not pushing equality. Equality is, in fact, a two-way street that requires give and take. It requires compromise to get to the desired destination. But when you sit there and you start deriding people for not only their race but their gender, that makes you a pretty big bigot, right? And when you start trying to segregate them based upon that, it does toe the line of abject racism. Not reverse racism as some people claimed before, but actual true racism. And what's so funny to me is that the argument, the pushback from that argument is always the, well, you can't be racist against white people. No, you can. And Lido, in some respects, you clearly are. Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.